was winner of the Inspiring Teacher of English Award in 2009, one of the 10 teachers to win the award that year. And it says here in your bio that you've also inculcated a growing culture of debate in your school and took your team to the finals of the arena. This was a televised debate.
Yes, it was a televised debate. There were 12 teams in the finals at the end. We were one of the teams that got there.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much. It
Wonderful.
was a rather exciting time for us.
And you have a particular passion in music and the arts, and I know that in teaching the students that you do at SJI, you try to inspire them through your love for music and the arts, and you help them to see lessons in life through music and art, and of course bring that into your classroom as well.
Well, I think I have it a little bit easier, mainly because I teach literature. And for me, the reason that I bring it in is because literature isn't confined to the textbook or the poems of old, all the rock songs that we hear today. That's the poetry of today, isn't it? So it has to be a real experience for them, and that's why I bring it to the classroom. And it's beautiful. Why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I can use my lesson on it. It's great. I can talk about imagery and metaphors and similes. It's all there. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
We'd also talked about inspiring and motivating kids to want to learn, and just before the break, we talked about styles, not just your child's learning styles, but really your style as a parent, as an adult, what your personality styles might be, and how that could influence the way you speak to your children and how your children react to what you're saying. And if you're nagging, that's not working, to stop that. And, talk the language of encouragement.
Yes.
Now, I know that the influence of parents and teachers and even the peers of the children, all that's important. Mm-hmm. And your mom just sent you a text message and she's listening to you on the phone right now. How much of an influence was your mom on the way you are today?
Oh, wow. She was a huge, huge influence, I think. A lot of the things I talk about, probably not done explicitly, but implicitly in some way. And just in the things that she was greatly interested in, I think that really turned me on to literature and theatre and drama, and she brought me to the theatre to see my first show. And she was already teaching when, in the old days, it wasn't really common for people to do additional studying and that kind of thing. And she was already working, and she had 2 boys to take care of who were running all over the house. But she went to do it and went to get some training as well. And she was studying Macbeth, I remember, and she would watch the BBC version on video and all that. And it was all a bit above my head, but it was something I enjoyed, I suppose. And, I think back about it now that you ask me, living in that kind of environment with somebody who was constantly trying to improve herself, that was, I suppose, something inspiring as well. Even my dad as well, also took up studies later in life, and so I was constantly surrounded by that. And I suppose parents learning new things might inspire children to learn things as well.
And really that is what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah.
Not a specific lesson on inspiration or motivation, but the things that happen around the child, in the child's environment, in the home, in the school, in the playground, in the schoolyard. These are the little things that were there. You didn't know it at the time,
no, you didn't.
But they inspired you, they motivated you, and here you are today. Now, and you talked about, trust and responsibility. Let's touch on that before we go.
Well, I just wanted to say that for children to be truly motivated, to want to do things for themselves, they must have a sense of responsibility. And that really comes from creating things to be responsible about, and to trust them to do certain things. I know that it can be quite difficult. I certainly know it is as a teacher. to trust them sometimes to be responsible about something. But if you don't do that, they will never have the opportunity. And it becomes too easy not to try. It becomes too easy to settle for things that are less than the best. It becomes too easy to just give in to failure all the time. If he doesn't live up to the trust and the responsibility, have a chat with him and say, look, you didn't manage to do it this time, but I'm going to try again, I'm going to trust you again, because I think you can. And that's going to make all the difference, I think.
If you had just one thing to say to parents with kids who are now preparing for examinations, what would that be?
listen to your child. Your child knows what is best for him. He does. And if you speak to him and get to the heart of the matter, he will tell you what he needs, and you can be there for him to give him whatever he needs so that he can do the best of himself.
Trust him, in other words.
Yeah.
Alan, thank you very much for being on Parenting Made Easy.
My great pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. Alan Johnson, one of the winners of the Inspiring Teacher of English Award in the year 2009 and a teacher currently at St. Joseph's Institution here on Parenting Made Easy. I'm Susan Ern. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Parenting Made Easy.